Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Cammy here. We're talking about the Scottish Premiership games from this weekend. Hope you had a nice weekend yourself. Mine was pretty awkward, to be perfectly honest. I went on a date the other day, and halfway through the date, the girl discloses the fact that number one, she Googled me, and number two, she found my TikTok account. So that was pretty awkward. But nevertheless, here we are talking about Scottish football. Let's begin. Stephen Robinson's reign in charge of Aberdeen ends in a draw for his first game, a 1-1 draw against Falkirk. High-flying Falkirk, who will be disappointed to have not won the game. I think the goal they conceded was an error by Scott Bay, and they had the better chances, controlled a lot of the first half especially. But all things considered, a decent point for John McGlynn's side. Pittodrie is always a hard place to go, and as he pointed out at full time, that's 7 points from 9 against Aberdeen, which for a championship side, well, a team that were in the championship last season, is a pretty good return. For Aberdeen, they looked a bit more structured, I thought. I think that's what Robinson will bring. I also think it's really important that he starts well in the North East, because a lot of those fans aren't convinced by his appointment. But the point is pretty good. They've got Rangers and then St Mirren, 2 away games across the next 2 weekends. Can they pick up more points? I don't think Aberdeen are going to get relegated this season, but they'll want to make sure that the bottom 6 is as comfortable as it can be. And a point against Falkirk in your first game, decent start for Stephen Robinson. 1-1 draw. Hibs against Livingston, 0-0. Not too much to say on this game. For Hibs, again, their best chances come down that left-hand side. Nicky Cadden, for me, has the best delivery in the league. It's so good. The way that he whips the ball in. 2 good chances down that left-hand side. The first one, Jamie McGrath hits the post after Cadden's ball. And then Josh Campbell from 2 or 3 yards out, he's got to do better. But he just blasts it over the bar. For Marvin Bartley and Livingston, another point. That's their 4th point in a row in the league. They're unbeaten in 4 games. But listen, they need to start picking up wins. They do. Kilmarnock go and beat Hearts last night. Livingston getting a point away at Hibs is a good result, but with the position they're in right now, they're 9 points adrift at the bottom of the league. They need to start picking up victories. Are they still with a chance to get in the relegation playoff? For me, no. I think a 9-point gap at this stage of the season is too much, but I think it's good to see that they're still battling away. They get a clean sheet for the first time in who knows how long, but it's too little too late for Marvin Bartley's side. As I say, the main positive for Derry Gray is probably the fact that Falkirk dropped points as well, because it keeps their 4-point gap in 5th place and gives them a chance of maybe catching up to Motherwell in 4th place and get European football. 0-0, not much to report in the capital. Celtic 3, Motherwell 1, massive 3 points for Celtic. We could look back on that game as being a turning point in the title race if Celtic go on to win the league, because quite simply, Motherwell are a very good side. I thought it was going to finish in a draw, but Celtic got the job done in the second half. After being 1-0 behind as well, obviously you heard the boos at Celtic Park. They had to respond, and the fact they scored so quickly after going behind was crucial. Good pressing by Nygren, and then Yang does well to finish it off in the box. Second half was dominated by, obviously, the penalty shout. Is it a penalty? I think it's harsh, but I think it is a penalty. When I first saw it, I thought it was very soft, but I can understand why John Beaton's given it at the back post. Longello gets a bit caught out. I don't know. It's always hard to discuss these penalty shouts because they are very subjective. It depends on how you see the game. For me, it is harsh, but I can understand why John Beaton has given it. But take nothing away from the penalty by Fanchara. He scored the winner last Sunday against Rangers, and he stepped up again. A high pressure situation, and it's a good finish down the middle. And then the third goal, just the cherry on the cake for Celtic. Big 3 points. As I say, Motherwell are a good outfit. I think we can safely say that Motherwell aren't going to get top 3 anymore. I think 4th place is theirs to lose. I think they're now 7 points behind Rangers in 3rd place on 53 points. But the fact that Motherwell are going away to Celtic Park and will be disappointed with that defeat shows how far they've come this season under Jens Bertalascu. 3-1 to Celtic, big win, big turning point in the title race potential. Kilmarnock 1, Hearts 0. Well played to Kilmarnock. Neil McCann continues to get a tune out of these players at home. Coming off the back of a very, very tough 5-1 away defeat against Falkirk. The second time they've lost convincingly away at Falkirk. But that's their third scalp at home. They beat St Mirren 4-3, beat Aberdeen 3-0, and then their best win of the season so far under Neil McCann, 1-0 against Hearts last night. The first 20 minutes they were all over Hearts. They start really quickly, push them back. Finlay Curtis hit the post. But the goal is a great ball by Greg Kiltie into a dangerous area. And a nice finish by Larsson, but I've got to tell you, Michael Steinwender, goodness me, he's got to do better. He needs to track that run at the back post. It's a soft goal for Hearts. I think for Hearts and for Derek McInnes, we're so used to watching them do the basics well in games. They've kept a lot of clean sheets. Their last two victories were 1-0 wins at home, but they didn't do the basics well enough last night. And Kilmarnock were deserved winners. And as I mentioned earlier, Livingston for me are gone. They're rooted to the bottom of the table. Kilmarnock get a big 3 points. It's between them and St Mirren now for 11th place in the league. Well done to Neil McCann's side. A big scalp. But for Hearts, Celtic go and win at 3 o'clock. You need to respond later on in the 8 p.m. kickoff, and they couldn't respond. Disappointing for McInnes and Hearts, but for Kilmarnock, a big 3 points at the bottom of the table. Mirren versus Rangers, the result is the main thing for Danny Rowe's side. They didn't perform very well again, but they got the job done. 3 big points. The goal comes from the only real bit of quality in the game, Raskin with a nice ball. Similar to Greg Kiltie's ball, in the sense that it's in a dangerous area at the back post. Romans coming in from the left back area, and it's a nice finish across the St Mirren goalkeeper, Shamal George. Romans has been pretty good for Rangers since coming in. He's the Belgian under-21s captain and picks up good areas on that left-hand side. He did well to ghost in the back post, and it's a nice finish. For St Mirren and Craig McLeish, disappointing weekend for them, but challenging as well. They lost their long-term manager, Stephen Robinson. We were not sure how they were going to respond, but they gave a decent fight, but they didn't create enough clear-cut chances in the game. Rangers, not great again to watch, but again, job done. And they're only 3 points behind Hearts now at the top of the table. The title race is brilliant this season. The quality's not there, but in terms of drama, we've got 8 games left, and there's 3 points separating 3 teams. Box office. Lastly, Dundee 2, Dundee United 2, the craziest game of the weekend. I left to go to the gym in the 75th minute, and that was a mistake by me because I missed out on one of the craziest endings to a Dundee derby that we've ever seen. United 2-0 up, strolling it, to be honest. I thought they were the better side in the first half. They scored 2 goals in the second. The penalty from Fata and then Stevenson at the back post. But Dundee have shown a lot of fighting spirit this season. Their managers come under a lot of stick, Stephen Presley. But those 2 goals at the end, that sums up United's season, but it also sums up Dundee's season. They fought to the very end for their manager, and they get a very big point in the bottom 6. United's inconsistent season. They've struggled for consistency, and they're all but guaranteed bottom 6 football now after 2 drop points away at Dens Park. Ross Graham has been a great player for United at the back. He's a future Scotland player for me. I think he's a very solid player, but the own goal is pretty comical. But it's also a very, very good finish. That was the craziest game this weekend. United 2-0 up, should have won that game, dropped points for Jim Goodwin's sides, and Dundee fighting all the way to the end for their manager. 6 games this weekend, lots of drama at the top and the bottom of the league. Let me know your thoughts on all the games in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more Scottish football reviews. Check out my TikTok in the comment section. That's where I post most content. I'm on there every day, posting random bits and bobs. Check out my links as well. I've got a few sponsorships on my TikTok bio. Check them out. And yeah, until next time, guys. See you later. Bye.